Hi everybody. Today we're gonna talk about how coronavirus is cleaning the air. And today we have also news spots from the tweets from the last week, and then we're gonna get to know our animal of the week. And today's animal is amazing. Is it a duck? Is it a lizard? Is it a mammal? Is it even extraterrestrial? Stay tuned and comment below what do you think. Welcome to the Blue Marble News Watch. Well, we'll start with BBC News, and if there is so much bad with coronavirus, there's also something good, if we have to say. So, coronavirus, air pollution and CO2 fall rapidly as virus spreads. And that is what the scientists have realized, that levels of air pollutants and warming gases over some cities and regions are showing significant drops as coronavirus impact work and travel. And that is also what, well, maybe everybody assumed also, that because of consumption goes down and there is not so much traffic in the world and not so much energy use, and people are saving natural resources because of staying at home. For a short time, of course, it will affect to the climate so that the levels of CO2 and methane will go down. And that is also something that this study shows, that emissions of the planet heating gas CO2, carbon dioxide, have also fallen sharply. But there are warnings, level could rise rapidly after the pandemic. And I guess this is one of the map pictures that many of you have seen, where there is a picture of China on January. This is actually January 20th is it, and then February between 10th and 25th days, and you can see that the air has cleaned up very much. So it is mean tropospheric. This is actually NO2, nitro dioxide. The studies also show that there has been 5 to 10% drop in CO2 over New York, and a solid drop in methane as well. Let's move to our Twitter news. So you can find Blue Marble News Watch also from Twitter at Marble News. So remember to check this also out if you wanna have some small news watches throughout the week. And here are some of my pickings to my bookmarks, and we start with CO2 levels, which show that on the Mauna Loa observatory it was seen that CO2 in the atmosphere dropped to 414 ppm on March 18, 2020 from 414 from a year ago. And this was retweeted by Tom Pesh, which was originally tweeted by CO2 Earth. And of course this is only one measuring point, but maybe could it be because of coronavirus? We don't know that, but it might be. Then here is UN Environment Program. Birds, bees and urban trees. 80% of all biodiversity on land live in forest and trees. Protecting forest is protecting life itself. And that is so true, and there are very nice pictures rolling on this tweet where you can see the biodiversity of our planet. Our next news is from Power Shift Africa, where you can see this amazing tree which is also in danger because of global warming. African baobab trees up to 2,500 years old are dying because of climate change. Some of them are as wide as bus. These trees act as natural water storage tanks. Yet another reason, it's vital. Action, climate. And here you can see some dias about this tree and some information about it. The baobab is the large. Its trunk works as a huge water storage tank to survive long droughts, and it can live up to 3,000 years. But will these trees survive that long because of us? But as you see, and you can find it from Twitter, PowerShift Africa. Here is another from PowerShift Africa. This is actually the topic I went through. Was it like my episode 3 where we talked about these desert locusts? So these are now attacking Africa, but there is also another threat coming, which is coronavirus. So for some, they are already dealing with this, the locust invasion driven by climate change, which is destroying their crops. It's vital in its time of crisis we don't forget about the world's most vulnerable. Amazing pictures. And here is also from National Geographic about the thing we talked about my episode 4. 99% of one of the largest green sea turtle population is female, likely because of climate change. So you can check my previous video which explains why this is happening. And also you can check Twitter, National Geographic, and you can find more information. Then we have some microplastic news from Microplastic News. Microplastics found to cause aneurysm, reproductive changes in fish. So microplastics affecting animals is not very well known, and one thing might be, for example, this kind of changes to their reproduction rates and other that kind of thing. Then the Guardian Environment 2020 European Tree of the Year in pictures. So they have chosen the Tree of the Year, and there is the winner. Before we go to that animal we just saw, shortly we see this stunning courtship display of Maratus tasmanicus, a peacock spider, species endemic to southeastern Australia. Keep your eyes peeled on this page for some more peacock spider news over the next couple of weeks, as a paper describing 7 new species will be published soon. And this was by Joseph Schubert tweeted, and as you can see, these are most beautiful spiders in the world. So I guess if there are some anacrophobic people watching, you might now fall in love to the spiders. Yes. And one interesting news from the last week was by University of Plymouth, which shows that Lego bricks could survive in the ocean for as many as 1,300 years according to new research. The last tweet is from Jessica Meyer, who is traveling there up into space at this time. From up here it is easy to see that we are truly all in this together. And I guess that is one thing we hear every time some astronaut is talking about, how being there in the space affected their mind, how they realize that we all are together. The blue marble is everybody's mission to keep it alive and well. And from this tweet from Wildlife Warriors we can move to our last topic of this week, and we also can see our animal of the week. This animal is pretty weird. You might even think, is it actually from our planet or is it extraterrestrial? The Platypus is one of just 2 monotremes on the planet. Can you believe these guys lay eggs? Drought and fire have drastically affected the platypus population, and we've seen a 1,300% increase in the number of platypus at the Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospitals. So this was tweeted by Wildlife Warriors Australia, which takes us also to Australia, to our next topic, which is about this platypus. We can find platypus, like many of the species of our planet, from the UNC Red List page. Red List is the place where every year they list animals, and then they are listed how vulnerable or endangered these are, and we can see from here that platypus is actually near threatened. It's not in big danger, but in the future it might be more in danger. And here we can see it is found all over the eastern Australia and also from Tasmania. From BBC News that climate change boosted Australia's bushfire risk by at least 30%. Here you can see dramatic pictures about the bushfires. Scientists have published the first assessment qualifying the role of climate change in the recent Australian bushfires. Global warming boosted the risk of the hot, dry weather that's likely to cause bushfires at least 30%, they say. But the study suggests the figure is likely to be much greater. It says that if global temperatures rise by 2 Celsius, as seems likely, such conditions would occur at least 4 times more often. The analysis has been carried out by the World Weather Attribution Consortium. Here also some smokes from the fires, and during the 2019 to 2020 fire season in Australia, record-breaking temperatures and months of severe drought fueled a series of massive bushfires across the country, and these are affecting all the animals in Australia, also the platypus, which we are talking a little more closely in our next little chapter. Here we can see some video from Australian Zoo, and these videos were all found by using Creative Commons search, so these should be good to use. And here is some information also about platypus. The platypus Ornithohynchus anatinus, sometimes referred to as the duck-billed platypus, is a semi-aquatic egg-laying mammal endemic to eastern Australia, including Tasmania. The platypus is the sole living representative of its family Ornithorhynchidae and genus Ornithohynchus, though a number of related species appear in the fossil records. Together with the 4 species of Echidna, it is one of the 5 extant species of monotremes, the only mammal that lay eggs instead of giving birth to live young. Like other monotremes, it senses prey through electrolocation. It is one of the few species of venomous mammal, as the male platypus has a spur on the hind foot that delivers a venom capable of causing severe pain for humans. The unusual appearance of this egg-laying duck-billed beaver-tailed otter-footed mammal baffled European naturalists when they first encountered it, and the first scientist to examine a preserved platypus body in 1790 just it faked, made of several animals sewed together. The unique features of the platypus make it an important subject in the study of evolutionary biology and iconic symbol of Australia. It has appeared as a mascot at national event and features on the reverse of the Australian 20-cent coin, and the platypus is the animal emblem of the state of New South Wales. Until the early 20th century, humans hunted the platypus for its fur, but it is now protected throughout its range. Although captive breeding programs have had only limited success and the platypus is vulnerable to the effects of pollution, it is not under any immediate threat. And here we are at the video from Choose Victoria, which also was found through Creative Commons. And next, something about the diet of the platypus. The platypus is a carnivore. It feeds on annelid worms, insect larvae, freshwater shrimp and freshwater yabby, crayfish, that it digs out of the riverbed with its snout or catches while swimming. It uses cheek pouches to carry prey to the surface where it eaten. And here we can see some picture of evolution of platypus. Modern monotremes are the survivors of an early branching of the mammal tree, and the later branching is thought to have led to the marsupial and placental groups. Molecular clock and fossil dating suggest platypuses split from echidnas around 19 to 48 million years ago. There is also something else pretty amazing about this platypus. Normally, mammal sex is determined by 2 sex chromosomes, X and Y. And if the mammal is XX, it normally is a female, and if it's XY, it normally is a male. But with Platypus, this is like something makes you again think, are you from our planet? Platypus has 10 sex chromosomes, and if it's like XY, XY, XY and so on, it is male, and if it is only X, it is female. Other weird thing with these chromosomes is also that its karyotype, it's normally 52 chromosomes, and normally mammals have always chromosome pairs, so that your another chromosome is from your dad and another that chromosome pair is from your mom. So normally they have always one chromosome from mother and another pair for it comes from dad. And here is also this chromosome came from mother and it has a pair that came from dad. And if you look at the Platypus, it has 52 chromosomes. Normally it would mean like 26 chromosome pairs, but Platypus has a couple of big chromosome pairs, then it has several small chromosome pairs, but then what is weird, it has also chromosomes with no pair at all. And these are green here because I don't know if chromosome that has no pair, is it coming from mother or father? I don't know. And I also wonder how production of reproductive cells like egg cells and sperm cells is possible with these animals, because the normal meiosis, which is the way these cells are formed, how meiosis works, I have no idea. If some of you has any idea how is this possible, you can put it on the description. It would be very interesting. And before we go, we can check our animal of the week. And our animal of the week this week we have Platypus. And is it really from Sirius? It's a mammal that lays eggs. It also lacks teats. Instead, milk is released through pores in the skin. And as we earlier mentioned, the male is XY and not XY like, for example, me. It senses prey through electrolocation, so that was also one interesting thing. And the male Platypus has a spur on hind foot that delivers a venom capable of causing severe pain to humans. So it is only mammal known to be venomous. So still we can wonder if this really is from our blue marble. So if you like Platypus and think it must be from outer space, please subscribe, click on the bell and push like. Well, that's about it. We'll continue next week. Till then, bye.